to the Mango Effect podcast, where every week we explore a range of ideas and inspiration that all culminate in designing the lifestyle that we've always dreamed of. No topics are off limits. We get into the practical, the hypothetical, and the downright juicy stuff. I'm Mindy Rosser, your host and lifestyle cheerleader, and I'm here today to talk about how our sleep chronotype can actually unlock a lot of possibilities for us to create a better lifestyle. You're probably thinking, Mindy, why are we talking about sleep chronotypes? Like, what does this have to do with anything? Have you ever tried to get up earlier in the day to join the 5 a.m. club? Because that's what all the cool kids were doing. I'm raising my hand. You can't see it. Only to realize that your brain doesn't even want to go to sleep till like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. What does that say about your character? So society tells us that there's this one way to be when it comes to being ambitious, an achiever, some of the most productive humans on the planet. It's being a morning person. Morning people are awesome. We all want to be morning people. If we could just be like that early bird, we would be successful. If you're a morning person, good for you. Okay, I'm not trying to bash morning people. You already fall into this camp if you are 15% of the population, according to Dr. Michael Bruce, aka the sleep doctor. But what about the rest of us? Like the other 85% who don't get up at 4 a.m. bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Okay, so I have a confession to make. I'm officially, intentionally transitioning to become a night person. I know, right? Oh my gosh. Now in my mid-30s, I am like doing the craziest thing ever, trying to go to bed as close to midnight as possible. I'm not quite there yet. It's about 10:30. The other night was 10:50. I'm thinking, oh wow, I'm pushing the limits. For years, I was really in the camp of get up as early as possible. And to be honest, I looked down on the rest of the world as just being lazy. If they would just go to bed earlier, they would get more done before noon like me. It takes discipline to go to bed at 8:30 p.m. so you can get those 8 hours of sleep and then get up at 4:30 a.m. to attack the day. So looking back, I think, that's kind of funny now. As a kid, I actually watched my parents. They would stay up till the wee hours of the morning, like talking and working. And I was that pesky little kid who would wake up super early because I liked having time to myself. Yes, I would literally take 90 minutes every morning to do my hair and makeup as a teenager. Looking back at that now, it's kind of laughable and funny. But I was taught by my church, by society, because I was really in this religious group. That's a story for another day. But it was very important that we got up super early, so we were extra spiritual. And it was like this moral thing that people with character did. And I wanted to consider myself the person of character. I'm a perfectionist by nature. I want to do everything perfectly by the rules, get it all done. I know there's also that duality where I like to break the rules too. But when it came to getting up early, that was something I wanted to go for. So when I became an entrepreneur, I read books like The 5 a.m. Miracle and The 5 a.m. Club. I was very passionate about it. I would talk with my people. I talk with my husband, my partner, my friends. And I assumed, like reading those books, I assumed that it was my choice what time I got up and what time I went to bed. And that if I just made a conscious effort, I could be part of the 5 a.m. club. Little did I know that wasn't meant to be forever. So then something shifted. I got COVID in the summer of 2020, and my entire biological system pretty much crashed on me. I got long haulers, so 18 months afterwards, it was just very, very challenging. I did not have that energy to get up before dawn. And funny thing is, where we lived at the time, on Hawaii, we lived in this one condo apartment complex, and it was actually not a good idea to get up super early because we had a Hawaiian cockroach problem, and I'd spend like the first 5 minutes of every day chasing down cockroaches with a slipper. A slipper is actually like a sandal for those of you on the mainland. So I didn't actually mind not getting up so early because I didn't have to deal with the cockroaches. So as a result, I had to start working with my body because I wasn't able to muster up all of that energy to get up crazy early. And at the time, I was doing 4:30 a.m. calls with clients in Europe, which is insane, right? So this led to a revolutionary discovery. I found that I actually enjoyed getting up a tad bit later and having relaxed mornings. That's what I call them. At least that's how I justified it in my head because I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I was just getting lazy. I thought that I was assigning this moral value to getting up earlier. And if I got up too late, I was not acting in character. So I fell in love with this luxurious morning routine that allowed me the time and space to gradually wake up before I had to start talking with people. And because everybody is so far ahead in time zones, most people are at least 3 hours, if not 6 or 8 or 12 hours ahead of me. Those are the clients that I work with. So it was really, really challenging as it was to work with them in their time zones and, not feel like I was falling behind. So I naturally started to get up a little bit later. I started experimenting with pushing all of my calls till at least 7 or 7:30 a.m. I know that's still early for a lot of you, for most people, but it's kind of what I have to do at this present time. Earlier this year, I came across the Mastery of Sleep. It's a quest inside of Mind Valley. I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to check it out, with Dr. Michael Bruce. So this actually turned my entire schedule upside down, because I took the Chronotype sleep quiz. If you're curious, just plug it into Google and you will see it pop up and you can take it. It's super, super fun if you like taking quizzes. And I realized after taking the quiz, I was just pretending to be a lion. Like, if you take his quiz, I'm going to talk about the different chronotypes. But the lion is his version of the early bird. So that got me thinking. I'm like, okay. So the first time I took the quiz, I'll be honest here, I answered it like a lion. I'm like, oh yeah, I wake up, I'm ready to attack the day, I'm super excited, I love going to bed early. I got a little further into the quest, the Mind Valley quest, and I thought, you know what? I gotta retake that quiz. He's talking about the dolphin chronotype. That sounds exactly like me. I better retake the quiz. So I took the quiz honestly this time with a fresh, open perspective, not letting my early bird mentality get in the way, and it definitely came out as I'm a dolphin, for sure. Like, it's definitely 100% guaranteed. Yeah. So I actually started looking, it got me thinking, I'm like, this is really wild. I should actually look at my genetic report. So if you've ever done something like 23andMe, which is like, yes, you take a saliva sample, you spit into a tube, they kind of run it through all this DNA testing. I don't understand exactly how it works, but it spits out all these really cool reports. If you like to nerd out on health and fitness stuff, you should do it. It's super fun. Also ancestry and all of that. So I looked at my 23andMe, and I saw on the scale, there's the morning person, there's the night person. I was smack dab in the middle of like the night person, not even the in-between morning and evening, like solid evening. So I thought, I ignored this before. I'm actually going to talk with my parents and figure out what their sleep schedules are like. I talked with my mom. She's a dolphin, for sure. She's definitely a light sleeper. My biological dad is no longer around, but I asked my mom about him, and he was definitely a wolf, so he was definitely a night person. So you put that together. So when you're looking at your genetic history, you look at people in your family, and where do they tend to fall on the spectrum? So for my family, everybody was an evening person, so even dolphins are much more evening people. So this got me thinking, now I have to totally change how I run my life. Like, I would go to sleep literally 8:30 p.m., like I'm shutting off the lights, and I would toss and turn all night because it's just a little too early for me to go to bed, and then try to sleep till 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:35, and get up. So 8 hours, 8.5 hours, something like that. And now, as a dolphin, I'm supposed to sleep 6 hours, like going from 8.5 hours to 6 hours of sleep. Like, how does that make any sense? So this left me scrambling. Like, once I was making these discoveries about myself, I just really had to approach it with an open mind. And the numbers don't lie. When you're looking at your genetics, you're like, okay, that is what it is. Chronotypes are very much biological. You cannot just willpower your way to change into a chronotype that you think is better or that you want. So now I am actually working towards adapting my sleep schedule to match that of a dolphin. And it is actually so empowering. So for those of you, I know that was a long story and a kind of a long roundabout way to talking about chronotypes, but think about it. When is the last time you actually looked at your sleep schedule, looked at your productive times, thought about the flow to your day? Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know, and we aren't aware that some of these things are possible for us, or that taking something like the Chronotype sleep quiz could actually show us a way to do life better, to create a lifestyle that is actually more aligned with our biology. It's not just about willpower. It's not just about all of these wonderful intellectual things that we learn. It's also very much about working with our bodies, our biology, like how we are wired, our genetics, what we were given at birth, what we take down from our parents, our grandparents, and beyond. So think about that for a moment. Like, I wonder what my chronotype is. Now, I think a lot of you are probably going to say, Mindy, I know what type of person I am. I'm a bear, I'm a lion, I'm a wolf, I'm a dolphin. I already know this. I already live in accordance with that. Okay, I hear you. But for those of us who are really curious about this, or maybe you didn't even know that there were different chronotypes, I feel like it's worth exploring and going deeper so you can actually learn how to optimize for your chronotype. So if you're curious about how this may be impacting your rhythm, go take the quiz. Like even while you're listening to this, take the quiz. It's super easy, super fast. You can do it while you're listening to something else. And let's get into a discussion about the different chronotypes and how paying attention to what's below the surface. Like sometimes we are living in accordance with another chronotype because of our schedules, because of our work. And the closer we can get to our true chronotype, the better. And the more positive results that we are going to see from that shift. So let's talk about the different chronotypes. So we know about the lion. So this is the person that likes to get up super early in the morning. And they wake up and they're like, hello, morning, good morning, hi, it's a wonderful day, it's a beautiful day, isn't everyone so excited? They're smiling, they're excited, they have so much energy at the beginning of the morning, and the rest of the world is looking at them like, please be quiet, I'm not quite ready for this. But the lions, I feel like they are definitely good drivers. They also tend to be like, you think of the CEO types, heavy drivers, very ambitious, get up super early. So they have different challenges in that they have to manage their energy because they have the bulk of their energy before noon. And then as the afternoon wears on, they tend to lose steam. And so by the time night comes, their party animal friends want to go out and they say, no, I got to go to bed because I got to get all that sleep and get up for my early morning. So our lion friends, we love you, lion friends. You are awesome. And I feel like you are very inspirational. And sometimes I just wish I could be like you. Obviously, I have a lot of envy for my lion friends. Then we move into the bears. Now, bears make up most of the population. I think it's about 50 to 55%. So a bear is, if most likely, it's a 1 out of 2 chance that you're probably a bear. So bears really fit well inside of the society norms. We think of the 9 to 5 schedule. And when people are awake, kind of going to bed at a decent hour, getting a full 8 hours of sleep, a little bit more on the extroverted end a lot of times. Also a little more gregarious, kind of free-flowing. So I love bears. My husband is a bear. He is a very lovable guy. And my kiddo, one of my kiddos, falls into this category. The other kiddo is actually a wolf. So then we have the other type, the wolf. So the wolf is the evening person. So this is what my biological dad was. My mom, she's a dolphin. But the wolf is that evening person. So when we think of the evening person, they come most to life around the evening hours. A lot of times they have trouble getting in bed before midnight, 1 or 2 a.m. And it's just how they're wired. We think of them as the entertainers, the dancers, very creative, very expressive, a lot of times very moody. And I love the wolves. The wolves add so much color to society and to our lives. I'm very, very grateful for the wolves that are around us. And then the dolphins. So this is the one I didn't want to be, and here I was. Dolphin. So the dolphin is the one that needs the least amount of sleep, usually around 6 hours. As Dr. Michael Bruce would say, 6 hours and 40 minutes in bed, because it usually takes a dolphin a long time to go to sleep. So the dolphins are a little bit more neurotic, highly intellectual, very intelligent, also quite OCD, and very likely introverted. I fall into this category. The lightest, my husband laughs at me because like the lightest anything will make me wake up. Like if there's an alarm going off that's a house or 2 down, I hear it. And I get up and I start walking around the house trying to shut off the alarm. If light comes in the window, it's over. If my kids make a noise or their TV is too loud in the other room, it's over. If the bed sheets are not perfectly cool, it's over. If my pillows are not one soft pillow and one firm pillow, it's over. Like every single thing, there are so many little nuanced things. He calls me a sleep princess. It's like, you're definitely a sleep princess. Everything has to be perfect or you cannot sleep. So kind of figuring that out about myself was super huge because now I can adjust my schedule. I can adjust my rhythm and just the flow of my day to what actually works with my biology instead of trying so hard to be a lion because they are the best and I want to be them. But I have to embrace my inner dolphin. So too often, I think the moral of the story is too often we listen to the rules of our society. And in North America, it's all about how everyone should be that early bird or suffer the dire consequences of poor health, less money, stunted careers, lackluster relationships. Maybe you're not in a culture like that. I hope you're not. As I know, many Latin countries and other places around the world don't seem to be as obsessed with being an early bird. But when we fight our biology, we are wasting our willpower on something that should not even be an issue. Each of the chronotypes has its pros and cons. So there's no purpose in passing judgment on someone who has a different chronotype than you. And it actually helps to figure out the people in your family, especially if you are living with other people in your household, understanding their chronotypes, because it actually helps with understanding when they need to go to bed, when do they want it to be quiet, what would disturb them, what would not disturb them, how can you rearrange your schedules so that you're getting enough quality time together if you have different chronotypes. So all of this can really help us create a lifestyle by our design. So here are a few things that have actually shifted for me. If you're curious, I always like to know what everyone's schedule is like. So for me, as a dolphin, I sat down over this weekend when I'm recording this, and I created an entire schedule, like literally minute by minute or increments of 15, 20 minutes through the entire day, from when I wake up to when I go to bed, exactly what I should be doing. I had Dr. Michael Bruce's book, The Power of When is what it's called. I had that next to me. I was looking things up. I had a chronotype clock next to me. I was looking at all of this data and trying to figure out, okay, when's the perfect time to do all of these different things? And what was so empowering about that was having a fresh perspective on my schedule and what I could be doing with that time. All of a sudden, instead of feeling like I had no time, which was always the problem before, I felt like I have to get all this stuff done all by 8:30, and it always felt like this rush to the finish line and a rush to the, with the clock. And now it feels so abundant because I know I'm doing the right things at the right time. And that to me is very, very empowering. And just having guidelines. Obviously, I'm not going to meet the clock perfectly, although I try because I'm a neurotic dolphin, but it's really about the process. It's about the process of looking at my schedule and working with my biology. So instead of trying to be uber productive, which used to drive me crazy at breakfast, like I'd have my breakfast and then I'd want to feel the sense of I'm going to be super productive. I'm going to knock out all of my to-dos, in the next hour or two. It never happened that way. And I would get so frustrated with myself. No matter how hard I tried, I felt like my brain was in more of that dreamy state. And now I know why. It's like, oh, you're just a dolphin. That's just how it goes. So use that time for creativity, for brainstorming, for other things, not trying to knock through your to-do list as quickly as possible. And then I also figured out why, for most people, the middle of the day sometimes can feel like a slump, like you have the afternoon slump. And for me, I'm like, that's the best time. I can do all my crazy productive work during that time period. Like, just switch things around a little bit. Let's put all that productivity and that knocking off the to-do list in that middle of the day. And then in the evening, the early evening hours is when I really tackle my big projects, my creative projects, and I get through things so much faster. So it's amazing. So obviously you can tell I'm pretty excited about my new schedule, but I think it's really just coming back to where can you optimize? Where can you do better? Where can you improve? Where can you discover? Where can you look at your life through a new lens, through different eyes? Because when you do that, the possibilities become endless. It's like now I look at my days and I think, if you would have asked me even a month or two ago if I would be playing piano every night, I would have told you, no, in a million years, if I just had the time, I would, but I don't have time. And now I do, because of working with my chronotype and being able to get things done very quickly and efficiently in the times that I allot to my work, and then having that space in the evening to decompress, which actually helps calm me down since my brain is always firing all the time. So I guess my challenge to you is go take that chronotype quiz. It is so much fun. So take the quiz, and I would love to hear about your chronotype. I'm like obsessed with it right now. So maybe you've already been aligned with your chronotype all along. So check out The Power of When. Most libraries have it. So if you're want to just check it out at the library. You can get the audio version, but I recommend the Kindle version because you get all of the printouts and you can actually see like the Chronotype clocks. You can go back and highlight things. So I recommend getting the book. It's awesome. And then if you want to go deeper, the Mind Valley Quest. It's called The Mastery of Sleep with Michael Bruce. Excellent course. It totally changed the game for me. So tell me about your chronotype. Let me know if you've been fighting your biology like me, or you've been, in alignment with your biology for all these years. So DM me on Instagram to share your take. And I'm also on TikTok, although I cannot say that I am consistent with TikTok yet. So either or, it's at Mango Effect Podcast. So let's encourage and inspire each other this week and start getting the sleep we deserve. All right. So if you like what you hear, please subscribe to the Mango Effect Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss an episode. I'd be thrilled if you could write a 5-star review for the show if you love it. We are a new show, so any reviews and subscribes we get will definitely help us as we grow. All right, I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.